Spoiler warning for Deltarune Chapter 5. Spoiler warning for Deltarune Chapter 5. Image_friend. After all this time, we still don't have a definitive answer on what this demon cat thing really is. Even with the newly released Chapter 5, we got surprisingly little information on it, with it only having a single short interaction. Despite this, however, the small amount of information we did get may have just given us an answer as to what exactly friend is. At the end of Chapter 5, Chris is asked to walk Susie home, and by home, Susie is talking about Castletown. Susie is living in Castletown full-time now, presumably to escape from the problems of her home life. Do her parents just not care if she's not coming home at night? Damn, her parents suck. Well, why is this so important? Another concept that Chapter 5 introduced to us is the flowers. Beings that aren't exactly lightners, but also not exactly darkners. Beings that are inanimate, but still living. Throughout the chapter, it's revealed to us that the flowers can't live in the Dark Worlds forever. They need sunlight, water, and care to stay alive. This got me thinking, if plants can't stay in the Dark World forever, wouldn't that also mean lightners can't either? People need food and water to survive just as plants need water and sunlight. So, if a lightner just decides to stay in the Dark World and never leave... not good. That brings me to the main portion of this theory. What exactly is friend? I believe that friend is the physical embodiment of Dark Worlds as a whole. The reason it's able to exist in every Dark World is because it is every Dark World. In Chapter 4, we were given a warning of the tale of hell which must not be followed by the prophecy. This tale has been associated with Friend in the past, seeing as he's a demonic cat entity and is most likely what the prophecy is talking about. I believe that the tale of hell is the natural allure that Dark Worlds have on people. They provide a place of fantastical adventures for people to get lost in, forgetting about their problems in the outside world. It's a form of unhealthy escapism that ultimately leads to the death of whoever is unfortunate enough to get lost in its fantasy. If this theory is true, I believe it also gives us an answer as to what roots means. If you are unfamiliar with roots, it's an ominous, vague message found in the prophecy, displaying what looks like the shelter or a small house surrounded by trees. At the top, there's only one word: roots. In real life, roots consume the nutrients of something that has died and has been broken down by fungi or bacteria. In other words, fertilizer. This leads me to the name of this theory, the pitcher plant theory. A pitcher plant is a carnivorous plant that lures in prey with sweet nectar before trapping and consuming them slowly with digestive fluids. You can probably see how this ties back to the theory. The Dark Worlds use escapism as nectar to lure in their prey, lightners, before consuming them through their roots. I believe that this is what you were saying happened to Susie. She's become so attached to the Dark Worlds to the point of living there. She would rather live life in fantasy than face reality. As we know, there's not exactly any food or water in the school closet, meaning if she stays there long enough, she too will fall victim to the tale of hell. But what if there was another person who had fallen into the trap of the Dark Worlds? I believe that Des also fell victim to the tale of hell's pull, and used the shelter as her sort of hometown. Another piece of the prophecy states, lost where the forest would grow, the children followed the pointed tail. The poor children! The tail in question was the shelter's Dark World, which is the only Dark World we know of that is surrounded by a forest. One day, Des decided not to come back up. I mean, why would she? The Dark Worlds are so much better and more interesting than the real world. What need would she have to go back? But in doing so, she let herself starve to death, and eventually had her body consumed by the Dark World. This is how I believe the night was created. In a similar frame to Gerson, a Dark World version of Des was created after she died in the shelter. However, her Dark World version seemed to be warped and distorted, like a monster rather than an exact replica. I believe that this is because of one thing: memories. Garrison was remembered for his book, Lord of the Hammer, and in turn, his darker version was created into a literal Lord of the Hammer, based on memories people had of him. If that wasn't enough evidence for you, there's also something interesting that was found with Chapter 5's dialogue hidden in the game's code. There were a few lines added. I do have one thing though, and that's memories. Memories of my life. Maybe that's all I am at this point. A collection of memory. Then all I can do is not forget, right? Don't forget. I just have to keep telling myself that. As we know, the memories people have of Des are traumatic, to say the least. Her disappearance was unexpected, and it led many people to panic, with some even ruining their own lives over it. These traumatic events warped the creation of the Night, turning what would normally be a copy of Des into a monster that serves the Dark Worlds. So that was it. The pitcher plant theory. Just remember, this is only a theory. I could be wrong about literally everything said in this video. If you thought the video was interesting, consider leaving a comment. I'd love to read through them. I'd love to read your guys' theories and see how wrong we all are. Chapter 6 is gonna drop in fucking Chalkington, it's gonna be the night or something.